Okay, so we're going to do the stack method for Gmail. Now, here I am in my inbox. And before we get started, I want to call your attention on the left hand taskbar here to these folders, which in Gmail are called labels. So I'm going to refer to them as labels. And we have picked short, action oriented names for all of these. And you'll also notice that I've put the number of the label next to the name. And I've done this deliberately because I want to keep this in the priority order in which I actually like to work. So I'd rather reply to something before doing something, meeting someone, etc. Now, if you recall from the stack method, when you get an email, you go through 4 steps. You have to open it, you have to scan it, you have to decide what to do, and then you have to act on it. The idea of these labels here is that it's going to take some of the guesswork out. Once you've put these into the appropriate labels, you'll notice that everything in the reply is something you have to reply to. Everything in the do folder or label is something that you need to schedule for yourself, like a task, etc. So we're going to go ahead and work through these right now. I'm going to go back to my inbox and I'm going to scan the message and decide which one of these action labels it's going to relate to. So I'm going to say this one's a do. Now I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts rather than dragging it in with the mouse because it's going to save a lot of time. So I would hit X, so that would actually select the message. And then I would hit V as in Victor. And what that lets you do is move it to a folder. And then all I would need to do is type in the number of the folder or begin typing in the name of the folder, and it would pull it up. So I've decided this one's a do. So I'm going to put in the number 2. There it is. I'm going to hit return and let's check to see if it's there. There it is. So I'm going to go through my inbox doing exactly this. I'm going to say this one's a do as well. So again, I'm going to hit X, V, to return. This one's a meeting request, and I'm going to do this with each of the ones that I have. Let's make sure that meeting request is there. There it is. It's in my label. So I'm going to keep going through all of these and in the same way, and I'm doing it a little more slowly than I normally would, just so that you're actually seeing me do this. I'm going to say this one's probably a reply, so I'm going to do that. So you're seeing how I'm doing this. So this one's a reply, this one's for a review, and I'm going to just work on this in a sort of a quick, normal fashion that I would work on it now. This one is probably a reschedule request, so I'm going to say this one might be a meet. This one's probably a reply. This one's a do. This one is a do. This one's a newsletter, so I'm going to say this one's a review. I'll say this one's a reply, and I'll say that this one is also a reply. And now I'm going to take a huge, deep breath and sigh of relief because guess what? My inbox is empty. So now, after I've done that, I'm going to come over to these labels and I'm going to work through each of these labels in the order with which I prioritize them. So first I'll go over to the replies. And then what I'm going to do here is within these labels that you've created, once you've moved the emails to them, you'll probably look through and notice that some of them are going to take a little more time and some of them are things you can deal with in real time and archive or delete. And again, we always recommend archive so that it's non-destructive, so you can still search for it and find it later. So I'm going to decide this one's a fast one. And what I'll do is using the up and down arrow keys, I'm going to star all of the emails that I feel like I can answer in real time right now. So this one is one I can answer right now. So I'm going to star it. And how I did that is I used the keyboard shortcut. I used the letter S as in Sam. And I'm going to keep going down. I'm going to say, this one's going to take time. I can definitely do this one now. Need to spend some time on that. Yeah, I think those two are good for right now. Actually, I could probably do this one as well. This one, so I'm going to say I'm going to respond to that as well. So then I'm going to come back up to the top of the list here, and I'm going to hit R, which is reply, keyboard shortcut, and I'm going to just reply in real time. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit send. And now I already dealt with this, and you'll see that it also went ahead and labeled it as priority because that's a rule I've set up that anything from Prashanth comes up that way, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But since I already did it, I don't need it right now, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Y, which archives it. And the archive is down here. If you click more, it goes into this all mail folder, which is the archive, and you can always do a search in there. So I'm going to do that for each of these. This one is also one I'm going to respond to in real time. I'm going to send that one. I already did it, so I'm going to go ahead. You can also press this, but I'm going to hit Y to archive. And then I would do the last one that I selected. Going to go ahead and respond to this. Send it. Again, I've done this. Now I only have two things left in my reply folder, and they're both some things that I need to get to later. So that's something I'm going to come back to, and I would do the same thing. I would go through, schedule things in my do. Same thing, I'd star what I needed to do right now. I've got to do this, and this one I'm going to do later because it's going to take more time. And I would do these in real time, and then once they're done, archive or delete them. So that's how you would do the stack method. You would go through your inbox, go through all of your action labels, and then you'd come back to your inbox, take a deep sigh of relief because you have nothing in there. And then for the rest of the day, you would work from your inbox. So anything new that comes in, you would deal with in real time. And then anything that you think might take a little more time, you'd put in one of these action labels.